Okay.
All right, three, two, one, go. I'm
All right.
Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
All right, Skylines deep dive.
All right. So, first and foremost, explain to myself and the Skylines audience here what the current situation is that you're in, so that we can compare notes.
So I've been trying to develop like several small communities.
Okay.
All right, just like completely, based upon like a light or what is it? Single family homes.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. And so if you do enough of these,
Mm-hmm.
eventually you hit a cap where they're like, no, you need low income housing.
Did you build some?
No,
Okay. So,
no, I want everybody being double wides or something.
is that what those are? Double wides?
Well, they look like it.
Trailers?
Yes. So, but they want me to build apartments.
You're talking about like the second row of apartments, or the
The third row.
Okay.
All right, so let's get our.
So there's six types.
There are six types. So the first type is like single family homes.
Yeah.
All right. The second type is row homes.
Yeah.
Which is like type 1A.
Like condos.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, the row homes. Yes.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. And so then Skylines wants me to make medium density residential, and I don't want that in my city.
But what about? I mean, I guess that's the thing is if you can you place it like somewhere like all right. So when you're talking about the breakup, and let me clarify on this, right? So
Sure.
all right. So if I'm going to describe this, I presume that you're it's based off of resources, and you're building
Correct.
little I don't want to say towns, but essentially
Very little towns.
Very-
like 5 street towns.
five street towns based around little resource areas, and they have
Yes.
like little things set up. And I presume those are all connected with roads somehow. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there a central, like what you would call like a light downtown area?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that because it sounds to
So
me
it's
like yeah.
So, all right. When I lived in Nebraska, all right, so there's several like little towns who are all like each town is based upon a resource.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I've tried to build like individual towns based upon like, okay, so this is a mining town. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll build a little town. It'll have a little bit of commercial. It'll have a little bit of light or
Yellow.
single family homes.
Oh.
So light green.
Okay. Where does the yellow go then?
Well, that's all the resources. So when I zone out a new resource, and it's like, okay, so this is a mining town.
Yeah.
So based upon like rocks.
Yeah. Or coal. Yeah.
Or well, no, because coal.
Oh, you can't do coal yet.
Well, I can. Okay, but not at the point in time where I started the town. Okay.
Okay.
So I have to wait until I get to like the third or fourth like level, so where I can actually like build, what is it? Chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chickens. The other one is not grain, but
Wheat? No. Carrots?
no, because those have to be placed on a resource. Yeah.
So it's let me try to remember.
No, it's all livestock. So it's
Okay.
either cows or chickens.
Yeah, but I think they're the same thing though.
Right. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, well, or like rocks.
Rocks. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll build a couple like resources based upon those, because you have to get like to level like 4 or 5 before you can even get either of those.
Yeah.
And so like I run with these really small towns,
Yeah.
and I hit a cap.
but all right. So is there? So right now, if you think about it, then all right. So the way you're describing it is the only thing that happens is rocks come out of ground. Okay,
Yes.
rocks go out of town.
Yes.
Okay, so there's nothing here where they're turning the rocks into anything else. There's no other
No,
industry.
not yet. So yeah,
Okay,
is that my problem?
that I would guess because I mean, if there's no.
No, they all go towards my train station.
Okay, so there is.
So
You
yeah.
don't have any other yellow
Hmm.
painted.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Oh shit.
Because I know that that's the other component of it is like so yeah you can export what you don't use and that'll turn into money but
Sure.
um
Yeah.
but I also know that when you place yellow they also import stuff that they need and I think
Well, and see, that's what I was trying to avoid. Because if you click on each individual industry, it'll
yeah
tell you what it's importing.
yeah
Yeah. And so I was trying to like keep them low enough where it's like, okay, I need rocks and fucking chickens to make chicken nuggets.
all right. So have you thought that this just might not be a place people want to live?
No, man. So, but my point to trying to like develop like 6 or 7 different like little small towns, which would coalesce into a bigger town, which was based upon like in my experience a seaport.
Okay.
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 All right. So, but you do eventually hit this hard cap where there's like, no, nobody else wants any, like kind of fucking like single family or double wide homes. And so it's forcing me to actually like zone medium density residential. But I don't want that in my little
What is
town.
the unemployment in that place?
It's negative.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right,
There's way more jobs than there are actually like residents.
I think that's it, man. I think it has to be. I'll bet you it has to be with placement. There has to be like some yellow zoning because like uh,
Like just general. Okay. All
I'll
right.
bet you there does because I gotta tell you like what's the rough like population of the spot you got right now?
So like I hit a hard cap at about 8,500.
Okay.
So yeah.
Dude, I didn't even start. They didn't even start asking me for medium until the 10-15,000.
Okay. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
it's a little
fucking
bit weird.
something up. I don't
Oh,
know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
you,
just trying to spread them out a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, like in the old Skylines, you'd build like several industries based upon like certain resources and stuff.
hmm
But in this one, it's like the entire map.
Yeah,
Um, like anybody goes into like any kind of like low level industry job,
yeah.
which like nerfs all of your industry. So it's just based upon a certain level. And so like even if I zone new uh what is it?
Uh,
Well no the light residential.
oh yeah.
Yeah, we're no, I want trailer parks.
Sure. No, I got what you're saying. It just like
So, but they won't do it because like certain ones, like an industry pops up where it's really low on workers. And so I zone a little bit of light residential somewhere else. They will absolutely positively not like transit that far.
do you have schools?
Ah, I have one school.
Is it full? Like
No, not even close.
I bet you that's it. I bet you that's it because like all right,
Not
so
even close.
all right.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a 10-to-1 teacher ratio.
All right, so okay, think about this for a second. All right, because like what I've been seeing here is a lot of the progression that it wants to step is based off of like the education level and therefore the job that they're suited for, right? So if you're basically over educating people for the jobs that are available, they're going to want a different kind of housing because they're too educated for just the dumb guy,
Oh shit. Okay, that makes sense.
right? The fucking like not rock mining, and this is it sounds really unsophisticated. It sounds like you do it with your hands. It's just
Well, I'm trying, man. I'm trying to
No.
like give like this entire region for all of you like PWT guys.
no, absolutely, and hopefully the map's name reflects that. I'm just saying that
Well, like all my maps are called simpleton, so but whatever.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know. All of mine are named towards like whatever aspect I'm trying to understand. But like, so if so yeah, if you're just basically educating them out of the simple job, right? Then they want a different kind of housing to accommodate that.
Yeah, but why would they want like more dense
Because
as opposed to us like actually upgrading the houses? I don't get that. See, that's the problem that I have.
you got me. I mean, yeah, I don't know. If you want to sit there and poke at that, Norwegian, like, oh, the smarter of us live vertically,
Well, and see, that's
I
the
don't know.
problem that I have with this game is like it's kind of forcing it towards a city model that is like dense. Where like okay, this is where trains and rent control make.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the issue is you're like, you want me to build the city you want, not the city I want.
correct.
Yeah.
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 So I've tried at least 3 times over the next like last 4 or 5 days to build a geographically diverse, resource-based economy,
Okay.
and you just get soaked out of workers. So you set up a whole new farm, all right, which should support like 40, 50, 100 workers, and you get like 5. Okay?
Right.
So,
Yeah, but that's to scale. That's that kind of weird scale
Correct.
they have going on
yeah.
either way, right?
Yes.
So it sounds like, all right, if you want to do that, it sounds like it has to be like short and sweet. Like you have to,
You should do one.
yeah,
Yeah.
like pile
yeah,
an area.
Yeah.
Or you have to have like a hub and spoke where it's like, all right, yeah, so I'll accommodate you dorks, downtown, right?
Yeah. So I've tried the hub and spoke where like everybody exports out of like this city because I built a port here.
Okay.
Yeah. It works pretty good.
Yeah.
So, but still at the same point in time, I mean, you can build up like medium density residential in that area and it'll soak up all the workers, but nobody will drive out to the jobs. So
Will it take the bus?
I haven't done buses because I don't believe in them. I'm sorry, man. You need a car.
No, it's yeah, all right, all right.
So I'm sorry, man. I just got a little bit frustrated with you.
No, here's the thing. I think you're right. I mean,
So it's really hard to actually develop like individual like this is a keystone industry within this area.
yeah,
Okay. And then actually having several of those that actually feed into a major city.
yeah.
So, yeah, without actually upgrading the city to the point in time where everybody here lives in apartments, they have like good services, good schools, good, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
But then they're not willing to commute out to actually get the jobs.
No,
So-
Patrick, because they sell like fucking street food and
So speaking of street food,
fucking Bohemian.
Yeah.
Dude.
Speaking of street food, I actually I've taken a break
Okay.
on Skylines and Starfield.
Okay.
Okay, and I did download Phantom Liberty.
Did you? Okay.
It's not worth your time.
Really? Why?
Well, it is if you want to go back into Night City.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
but if not, there's not that much more content. So, The thing with, and this is going to be really controversial,
Dude.
really controversial, but it's Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty is about a 10 to 15% plus based upon the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say 10 to 15%? Do you mean like in terms of playtime or what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to build a absolute like fucking murder bot with your V, you can do it now. So, but
Okay.
in terms of like actual that much more playtime, it's not that much. So,
Well, so
but if you want to go murder the fuck out of all kinds of things, and so like, all right, so one thing, and you were right about this a couple weeks ago.
Huh.
Starfield's writing sucks.
It's the worst.
I'm sorry, man. You're totally right about that. You're totally right. As soon as I dipped a little like pinky toe back into like Project Red's Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
yeah, it's way better, way fucking better.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
way better. So, so in Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, all right, so just straight up,
Yeah.
if you want to go build a Murbot, it's way better.
Well, okay, so
I mean, the combat system is so much better. They pulled out so
Is it
much
really? Okay.
bullshit from the
Did they?
previous one. Yeah, no, man. So I've been trying to go around the last like 2-3 days
Yeah.
to figure out how to like actually like choke out like an actual cyber psycho. You can't do it. So because the entire like system where they were like, oh well, just put this mod on your gun and it's non-lethal. Yep, that's gone.
really?
Yeah, totally gone. So yeah, I don't know how to do it anymore. So and they pulled out the entire like what was it, the system where it was the cool hack or fuck, what was it, where everything's stacked together, so where you could actually like get multiple kills.
Actually get like multiple kills?
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah, color me confused. What do you mean, like through hacking or what?
No. The cyber hacks are way more powerful than they
Are
used
they?
to be.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was the cold-blooded stuff.
I don't remember what was in there.
So they used to have the
Well, break
system
it
where
down
you
for me,
could stack up multiple cold-blooded kills on top of each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's all gone.
So I didn't use that, but
Yeah, no, I didn't either. So because it used to be like, all right, you plow your points into reflexes.
Okay.
Yeah, and same thing with crit kills.
Okay, gotcha.
It's all gone. They murdered it all off. So
Was it just well, I don't know. I don't know the reasoning for it. Was it I wasn't using that. Is it kind of busted?
apparently, like not that many people were using it.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, and so anyway, they took all the like different guns because
Yeah.
you used to like stack all your points in reflexes.
Okay.
So
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
do that anymore, man. You have to decide which way you're going to go. If you want to be a shotgun guy, you got to go to stack up all these points in body now. And then previously,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
if you wanted to be a pistolero,
Yeah.
yeah, like you did. So you can't do that anymore. You got to put that all in a cool. So
Oh, so they redistributed where the
Correct.
Oh, okay, interesting.
yeah.
All right.
No, it's really interesting. They nerfed a whole shitload of stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
that used to be like all based on crit kills.
Got it.
It's not there anymore. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah, because it used to be like if you put a whole bunch of points into a cool,
Mm-hmm.
you would actually get like really good stacks based upon whatever it was that you used to stack in that.
I don't remember. I didn't end up using that
I
all
didn't
that much.
either.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so I've been poking around with it for the last couple days.
Yeah.
So, and everything is good.
Oh, okay.
So you just go do what you want to do. So, like, if you want to be a sword guy, go be a sword guy. So, if you want to be like, actually, like the arm things. So, because I made a Velociraptor
Yeah.
last time.
The Mantis Blade.
Yeah, no, it's not as good anymore. It's just not as OP. So, but to be fair, it's about 80% the same game that it was before.
Okay. So, all right. So what it sounds like to me is if you were planning on replaying it anyway, right? It's nice to have it
It's
there.
totally great
Yeah.
to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
if you're done with the game, no. You don't
It's not
really.
gonna- okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You don't really need it. So, but at the same point in time, if you had a good time in that city and
Yeah.
stuff like that, it's pretty fucking
It's
cool.
worth taking another trip over there. Huh?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, no, I've been doing that the last 3 days, and it's just been. I don't know, man. You still have to get past Jackie.
Yeah.
You
I
gotta,
know.
buddy. Yeah.
Oh, chingado. Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, you're doing little buddy enchilada. It's yeah.
Well, actually, listening to the Japanese guy is worse.
Yeah. When they're
Yeah.
speaking English.
Well, trying to, yeah.
Right. But
yeah.
but say for example, if you were to put it in another language,
Right, yeah.
play it in subtitles. But I mean, it's-
Dial it up to 12.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been having a little bit of fun with it because, all right, I love Starfield on a certain level,
Yeah,
but
it does totally different things. Yeah,
the combat is not on par with Cyberpunk.
not even a little bit. As a matter of
No,
fact, that's,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I would argue that the
And you made
actual-
that point like 2-3 weeks ago, and you were totally spot on with that. So, like, if you go into Cyberpunk and if you want to do this, and this, cool. Yeah, the game will let you, like, fucking Doom 64 it out. Whichever way you want to do it, man.
Why is that the bar?
I don't know, man, but like if you want to run through Cyberpunk now with the Santa Vista and all that stuff, where you can slow down time and like just get in there and murder all kinds of people, or if you want to like sit back like I've been doing with my character, it's like, oh my god, the cyber hacks are fucking amazing now,
Yeah.
and you just melt people from a distance. That game actually gives you tools to be able to do that. But it does force you into, like, okay, you're going to go this way, you're going to go that way.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So, whereas, like, Cyberpunk allows you to do all those things, Starfield does not. So, you're either going to, like, shoot. The stealth system in Cyberpunk is ass. It's awful. Or, I mean, in Starfield. So it's awful.
It may as well not be there. I mean,
No,
it's just,
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
an afterthought.
So, but like Starfield has like other things you can do, but every time you land on a planet, it's like, okay, goddamn it, it's another planet. Whereas in Cyberpunk, where like I have to walk between here and there because I don't want to go pick up my car.
Yeah.
So you're gonna find shit between here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. No,
Yeah.
it's
And I had to go and sign up for fucking Netflix again so I could watch the series.
Oh yeah, did you didn't watch it before?
I didn't want to because I
Oh.
don't want to get back in the game.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but I did sign up and I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, you haven't yet?
No,
Oh, okay, okay.
I hear it's amazing. So,
I liked it. Even William liked it. It's actually it's
oh, he watched it.
yeah,
Oh no
yeah.
shit.
Will dug it.
Nice.
And it's done actually by one of my absolute favorite studios. So it's I dig that just on an artistic level. So
Well, if you do decide to get back into Cyberpunk, so there's a whole new, and you can completely bypass it if you just play the normal game. So I told you like on the podcast like 2-3 weeks ago that I wanted to go do all this stuff with Jackie.
yeah.
Not worth your time.
No? Oh,
No,
okay,
not
okay.
worth your time.
Okay.
Just speed run all that. Kill off
Okay.
Jackie. So
Okay.
and then you'll get dumped right into the new.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
It doesn't take long. So I mean, just ignore the Japanese guy Takamura. So go do the other things. It'll suck you right into
Okay.
the new thing. And Idris Elba is fantastic.
Oh, is he
He
new in
is
game?
the guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
all right.
is.
All right.
He is a major guy
Okay.
in it, and it's really fun. The thing about this game is it will force you into a couple really bullshit choices that are just like horrifyingly bad. So
Like when you say like bullshit choices, like nobody would rationally decide between these two things, or
no, exactly the opposite.
oh,
It was
okay.
like you go with the way that you want to go, and it's got implications that are
So you gotta
CD
okay,
CD
okay.
Projekt Red did a really good job of
Yeah.
like writing this piece of it, and it's all nested within the main story. So
You know what? Okay, that makes sense because I would argue that like Witcher 3, your decisions held a lot more weight than they did in Cyberpunk. So if they're bringing some of that back, like, hey,
they totally bake that back in there.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good, and I already regret some of my decisions.
You're supposed to feel that way. That's
Exactly.
good. That's
yeah,
actually
no,
that's,
it's fantastic. It's fantastic writing. And
That's exactly it. Yeah.
That's what like turned me against Starfield. So, because Starfield's got like this: do this, go this way. This is the right way. This is the wrong way. So, but this version, and I mean, to be fair, it was fun to go back to Night City.
Well, I mean, I think we both agreed by a wide margin that in terms of personality of background, Night City runs
It's the
circles
best.
around the entire universe
It's the best.
of Starfield. Look, so I have to give Starfield credit where credit's due. It does
Sure.
a very ambitious thing, and for a while there, it sort of tricks your brain into, and I don't want to say it's like cheating it because it is doing something, sort of unique where it's like, all right, I actually do get the sense of like leaving a place and going to another place and
Yes.
flying and all this
Yeah.
other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, it's where the rubber meets the road. Where you're like, it's just different rocks, and this is it
Okay,
is
you hit that closer than I did, but
and then when you get tired of the rocks, you're like, okay, so the systems in here, obviously, like I would say, like the starship building, I would invest way more time in that in the
so
future.
much fun.
See, that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
it's
Is
so much fun.
like
Yeah,
the thing is, I would look at a game like Starfield and say, like, I would look so forward to a Starfield 2, right? Because of the things that they could take from it and say these things worked, right?
Yeah.
And these things didn't, but the engine is there, right?
Right.
Whereas, like, if they were to make a Cyberpunk 2078 or whatever, right? Or, basically another extension of this, how would you, I mean, that's the thing is would you place it in Night City again and, or would you keep that and say like the characters all there? Like I would look more forward to a Starfield 2 because of what they could actually fix, right? Versus like another Cyberpunk where it's like, well, you did these parts right that I would like, right? it just feels like it would be like a refinement of like there wouldn't be so many doors that are just closed. There wouldn't be so many.
That's still there, and it's really
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, like,
Shit that you know that was supposed to work at some point, and they coded it off. Yeah.
yeah, but if you played it through the first time, which I know you did, and so did I, um, the problem is if you go into the entire, like, Phantom Liberty piece of the story,
Yeah.
so if you call out Judy, she's like, hey, what's up? And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm doing stuff. I'll see you next week.
Right,
So there's
right.
not that much integration within that. But so the thing that Cyberpunk did well was they completely revamped how you build your character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you were saying that. Yeah.
Totally different. So they took out a whole bunch of the bullshit stuff. Where it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, +3 poison damage on every shot, blah. So now it's all based upon, like, certain things you can do. So, like, one of the best things they actually added was this dash feature. So if you want to be like Doom Guy,
Yeah.
you can totally be fucking Doom Guy. So
Oh, like when you're going for like glory kills, that kind of thing?
absolutely.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's
okay.
all in there. And so it's completely ground up rebuilt in terms of the amount of, like, carnage you can actually cause. So in this game, and so, like, the first thing that I noticed, yeah, sure, I'll
Okay.
take a little bit of that. So
It tastes pretty good.
oh yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
So, like, it used to be like you had to be really careful with melee kills
Yeah.
and stuff.
Go nuts, huh?
No,
All right.
you go totally nuts. And so, like, so when you used to go in the cool tree where you build the throwing knife shit and
Okay,
stuff like
yeah. Yeah.
you can do that with any melee weapon now.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's
yeah.
just like right trigger and then shank. Yeah,
Sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Yeah.
it's way fun. I mean, yeah, the combat is it's amazing. Because there's so many different things you can do now that you could not do before. So
See, that's the.
so they have a
Yeah.
stamina based system now, where before, if you got a weapon that had a low enough attack speed, you could just shink, 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 and just kill people. But now it's all stamina based.
Okay.
And so you're looking for weapons that are low stamina but high damage.
Yeah.
And so you can just run in there with like a fucking tomahawk and then chop, 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 and then throw it at a guy and then slide into him and then murder him, with a finisher kill. So it's very Doom, based
Yeah.
combat now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then the other thing that they actually beefed up was all the quick hack kills. So, I mean, they're way more powerful than they used to be. Because it used to be where it's like, okay, well, I can blow out that guy's, like, eye circuits and I
Yeah.
get an extra second
Yeah.
to actually, like, hit them and stuff. But now it's just like, you can fucking melt guys
Well,
with this stuff.
well, think about what it is. I mean, what you're doing there is you're sort of like, if you think about it, what you're doing is you're sort of like transplanting, and you're saying like, all right, so if this is a futuristic setting, what I'm doing is
Sure.
I'm trading magic for tech, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Right, and so
Yeah.
it's where it to me it sounds like it's actually a little bit more of a better translation of the game itself, the actual like role playing game, the pen and paper
Sure.
role playing game, where yeah, you do have sort of like what would feel like a magic system, right?
You do.
Whereas
Yeah.
if you talk about like the conversion, like so if you played Oblivion or Skyrim or any of these games, right, there is like a fantasy element, but Fallout, it has something similar to that, but not quite, right? It doesn't have that same thing,
yeah.
but I'm going to tell you, it doesn't feel there is a quote unquote like magic system in Starfield, but it's shit that I never use. The actual like
The powers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
No, me too.
didn't use them, and they were never necessary. So I mean,
No,
it's-
because you could always get like, some kind of weapon that would actually just like melt guys. Yeah, and so you never use the
Yeah.
quote unquote powers. So, but I don't know, man. So actually going from Cyberpunk, like the one that you and I played, to the new version,
Vanilla, yeah.
yeah, the vanilla one, to the one that's actually in place now. You don't even actually have to buy, the expansion in order to get that. You just have to download it. The combat system is completely reorganized, so
It just sounds way more fun.
it's totally more fun.
That's
It's totally more fun. You can do what you want to do. So if you want to like just sneak in there and murder everybody with like, non-combat kills, you can do it.
see, that's the thing is like
Yeah, you try to beat them all to death.
well, okay, and I'm not saying that's the thing is I had so much fun with the game, and again, this is not me shitting on Starfield. I don't want to turn it into that. It's just a
Right.
it's just a recent comparison. There are things that Starfield did right that Cyberpunk didn't even attempt. It's not
Right.
it's
Yeah.
Bagware, but in terms of it, like this is where for all the criticism Cyberpunk was getting at the time, I had fun with it. I actually enjoyed
Way fun with
the game. I enjoyed the just being there and doing stuff. And even though there were things that made no sense, where you're like, oh, okay, so if I run 2 blocks, then the cops will leave me alone. So and I understand
they
that that's changed. Yeah,
Yeah, they changed that. You don't fuck with the cops anymore.
and it's
They will fucking mob you.
that's
So-
cool. That's that's a little bit more GTA as far as I'm concerned.
Very
Yeah.
GTA. In fact, they will drop what's the max tack?
Oh, really? Okay,
Oh,
the Max Tech. Oh, well,
Jesus
those dudes aren't.
Christ, guys, those guys do not fuck around.
That's what
If you want to get into shit real fast, just kill a few cops. Try and run away. They will. They will absolutely fucking pin you against the highway and then drop max tack
That's
on you.
real fucking
And it's-
GTA. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it actually makes the actual the cop missions where they have all these like, oh, there's a armed assault going on here, and if you get involved in something like that and then they drop max tack, they'll help you out.
That's cool.
But if you fight them, they will fuck
It's
you
your
up.
ass. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The only thing about the game that's kind of like weird is like going into the new content. It feels like a set aside from the rest of the main game.
Okay. Yeah.
So, all right. So I told you a couple weeks ago that I wanted to get into this and I wanted to go do and max out myself.
Yeah.
Before Jackie died.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Just play it.
Yeah, just
play it.
Just play it. Just speed run those pieces. Get to the next act. Because the entire like character development structure is totally different than it was before. So you'll figure out what's good for you early. So, but it's still all based on so I've been playing the Phantom Liberty stuff.
Yeah.
And fucking Keanu Reeves is just in there again. He's got all new lines. He's such an asshole.
Well, is he? All right. So, like in comparison, okay. So
He's such an asshole.
I'll do this. Okay. So I did. So lately I've been watching more stuff while I've been working. Right. So like when I've been editing. Because it's just you plays in the background. So I was watching a couple of movies while I've been doing this, and 2 of them did star Keanu Reeves. Number 1 that I watched was Bram Stoker's Dracula. Now,
Oh my god.
yeah. Now let me say this. Like,
Gary Oldman and everybody.
so I'm gonna say this. All right. I think it's a bad movie. Okay. I think
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it's very good. And
Even Anthony Hopkins.
I don't think he's great in that movie because I think the movie doesn't give him a lot to do. Well, it doesn't give him a lot to.
Get one hour Ryder.
It does, yeah. I'm not saying that the people in it are necessarily bad, but Keanu Reeves is acting in it is it's his worst. It's really up there with his worst. Versus the other thing that I watched was John Wick #1, and he's so much more alive in that. Where
Okay.
that's the thing. I watched two things with him in it. So I watched a movie where he had no business being there. Right? He just happened to be a popular actor at the time, but he
Bram Stoker.
yeah
Yeah.
he had no business being there. Versus something where it fit him like a glove, right? And it's funny because in in Cyberpunk, right, there are parts where I feel like this guy must do more acting with his physical form than he does with just being behind the mic. Because
No,
some of it comes across as
it's so bad,
so dead, so
very ham-fisted. Yeah. No, I just played a scene yesterday.
Yeah.
Something about wreaking madness.
That's and you know what? I think it would come across fine if you could see his face, right? If you could see him acting, if you could see him like physically acting, but with just the voice and the pretty good model. I'm gonna say that the actual
Model's great.
It looks like him, so
Well, except for his spidery arm, like fucking underarm.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's not natural. Yeah. So it's weird. There are people.
The funny thing about that game is that like they recorded so many of like the side episodes or his side quests.
Oh,
where he's really good in some of those. Where he's like really into it. But then the main line stuff.
It's like he's phoning it in.
Exactly.
Yeah. But he wanted to do that, if I recall. He
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I mean, there's a few pieces of that game, like, after playing it the last couple days and going through Jackie's, like, chingado!
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't hate that as much as I used to. It's kind of, like, endearing in some respects. So, it's not overdone. I get you on this. So, but it's not like it's my quitas. It's not that bad. So the guy that I've like learned to kind of like, it's a little cringy.
Wow.
Is the Japanese guy.
Yeah. The dude who's sort of on your side, not on your side,
but not on your side. Yeah. He's good, but there's also an element of it's like, okay, this is a little overplayed. So the fun thing about Night City is like you just walk around the city a little bit, and you go between point A, point B. All right, so this is where my next mission and objective is, and you'll run into bullshit between here and there, and so. Completely different than Starfield.
Yes.
Well, so, and like, actually, after going through quite a bit of Starfield, having a good time with it. Yeah. Enjoying the main story. Get it. I love the black versus white kind of thing. So,
what with the
hunter?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, it's great. So, but there's a whole lot of like nothing between here and there. So and then you get to Night City and it just feels like, all right, people fucking live here.
Well, see,
like it's nice to stop at a place where they sell you cat food.
And it doesn't weigh you down. No,
and it doesn't weigh you down.
Yeah.
And the same thing is if you want to stop at a burrito machine, that gives you a plus 25% bonus to whatever. So, because, like regen, that kind of thing. Because it's like, well, fuck, I haven't eaten 3 fucking days.
Well, look, my approach on that was whenever I saw that, the whole perspective I always took was, I could use a burrito. Like, I didn't think about it in terms of... I was
exactly.
I felt like I could use a burrito. And, like, there were things where you find, like, yeah, I could use a cup of coffee.
Sure,
Or,
yeah. Yeah, I'll drink
like
this.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is.
Well, the same thing with dumping like your junk weapons in a fucking like. There's a receptacle that just takes whatever you want to take.
Yeah.
As opposed to it's like, well, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess the thing that like really blew my mind was when I went from Neon in Starfield
Yeah.
and New whatever it is, New Atlantis.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh Jesus Christ, this isn't even close. It's not even close. So like Night City, you can walk down any alley, and it feels like this place is like a thing. And there's a history that's here before you got here.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll be there after you're gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's not about... Well, I mean, I guess that's my thing about Fallout 4, was I tried to fix the wasteland. So, in Night City, you are presented with this entire fucking thing where it's like, no, this is a thing. How are you going to make it? It's not like, you're not going to fix this.
Well, it's a question of scale. Like, for you...
Absolutely.
For you, I mean, this is the thing, is you got into, like, base building a little bit in Starfield, right? But
I tried, but it's dumb.
But
after a little while.
It protected from what? That's the question.
Correct.
Yeah,
well, eventually you get a few, like, attacks on your base and stuff, but all you do is put up a couple turrets and, yeah, okay, so...
But that's not what you're looking for. That's not the...
No, I'm not fixing the things.
Exactly. Yeah. It's you tried to do too much with it and lost all the personality. I guess the thing that I would say there about again, not to heap more praise on it, because I mean I've already said there, this is like unofficially, I would argue that Night City is unofficially the main character of the game.
Absolutely, I'd agree.
So this is sort of that, but the thing that okay, so there's a little bit of a disconnect.
But it's the primacy of setting. Yeah.
So much that it is like, it's one place, but it feels like, look, the different regions, just the different areas where it's like, well, this is clearly very Japanese influence. This is clearly very right, and you bounce from place to place. But
bro, it's just like, it's based upon like the colors that are on the street. Yeah.
And the architecture and everything like that.
Dude, it's brilliant.
No, it's fantastic. But the thing is, the game does one thing, and you and I know this. This is how it works, where it's like they try to put this artificial clock on it to move the story forward. Right?
But you can ignore that, dude.
But yeah, that's the thing about that game, is you go into two modes where you're like, all right, well, so I'm either going to buy into the clock, right, or I am in full-blown Heathcliff mode, right, where it's like, right. Because here's the thing, every now and then Heathcliff had to do stuff, right? He had to go do things. There were times where he was put upon to do things. But the other times is like, well, the rest of this time I'm a cat. How am I going to fill my time? And you walk down the street and you're going to find shit. And if you so happen to be able to jump 2 levels, right, to hop over the fence and go get into trouble. Because sometimes you're like, well, I don't want to walk around this way to get into it, but if I can hop over this and get there right now, let's go cause a ruckus. Let's go cause a ruckus.
Yeah,
right?
Let's go try this.
And that's the difference is there is, I just honestly feel like there's none of that in Starfield, because it's either pirates or nothing. It's either because the animals aren't going to fuck you up. They're not. It's just
no.
And even if they did, there's no reason for it. There's no, like...
They're not coming after you, man.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's where it felt like I was shooting, reindeer in a pen. It's like, this is fucked up.
It's furry.
Yeah.
No, man. And I mean, I guess the thing that really, like, disappointed me about Starfield was you go to enough planets, you see the same things.
Yeah, but it's red this time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a brain cage.
Sure it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? This is how I have to classify it ultimately, is I wanted to like Starfield more than I actually liked it. Right?
Fair.
I liked the idea of it more than I liked the game. That's why I said, like,
I love the idea of being able to build your ships and
absolutely
go out there and murder shit, but you see the same shit over and over again.
Yep. And that's where ultimately, if they came out with a second one, and I'm sure they will eventually someday, I'd be very excited for that to say, like, hey, you took the foundation of, all right, so the shipbuilding's good. Clarify it, make it make more sense in the beginning.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's cool.
Yeah.
And, there are certain things where you could tighten things up. You could look at certain things and say, like, I can tell where you artificially increase the length of this game with inconveniences that, like...
Go to these missions.
It's not even the missions, man. It's like, the thing for me is like, well, stop running out of materials. Like, why the fuck? Like, I've covered this before.
I don't know, man. Yeah, no, I get you. So there's like certain places in Starfield that are really, really excellently done. So, and you go in there, and I was like, I want to learn more about this place, but you can't because there's nothing behind it.
There's a
correct.
There's a resort planet that
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
It seems so interesting, and that there would be way more stuff going on there.
There's nothing,
but it exists for exactly one side mission, and then.
But meanwhile, you walk down a random alley in Night City, and you get involved in fucking shit.
Yeah. Sometimes, you hop that fence, and you're like,
wait, whoa, what? Sorry, guys. Yeah.
All right.
It's not the same, man.
Yeah. Well, again, this goes back to like a point that I made a while ago. Is like, games need to be fun. There is just remember the whole reason why you're there. Like, are you having fun with it?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, great, you've got something. And that's not to say that I wasn't having fun with Starfield at times, but there is.
I had a lot of fun with Starfield.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can't argue with it there. It's just,
dude, there's like some great ships that you just like link into. Like, did you meet Grandma's ship?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, there's like little fun things here, but they're just like so rando. That you get involved in. And same thing, like I get involved in an entire war between two planets. Right?
Okay.
And I just like fucking stumbled into it. It was great. So, but then you get back into it and it's like, oh, Sarah wants to go see this. So we got to go check out this next like fucking temple. And it's like, I know how these work. So,
these never change.
They don't change. The first one was fantastic. It was like, what the fuck am I doing?
You know what? Okay.
All right. Then you jump into the next couple, and it's like, is it the same as the last one? And the answer is yes.
Okay. Buddy, you're more onto something than you even possibly realize. Was the second that the cat was out of the bag in terms of what. As soon as I lost that mystery of what the fuck is going on here,
right?
The interest I had in that game nosedived so hard. And again, it's there's so much.
Well, and my point
why
in that game,
hyped.
my point in that game was when I figured out how to like make a fucking base. All right, so this is a base. All right, so I get credits out of this base, but I have to like bring them back here, sell them here, sell them to this guy, sell them to this guy. And I was like, well, this is dumb.
Why can't you save me like 6 steps?
Well, it wasn't even that. It was like, what can I buy with this? It was like, okay, more ship parts. All right, cool. I'm gonna make a badass fucking battleship, and I'm going to murder everything that comes near me. And once I did that, which, I mean, it wasn't even that many levels. So I just decided to take the game in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so you're teeing up, some kind of like thing for me, but I can murder it immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was just like, okay, all right. This is not like Skyrim. And then when I jump back into Night City, where there's good writing, regardless of Chingado.
Look, man, it's just shorthand. You know what? It's shorthand. It's a what is the minimum effort thing that you can do to say like, oh, but this character is diverse, right? It's shorthand. It's
I get you on that one.
Lazy. It's and it's fine. It's fine. Like in hindsight, I would rather have that than when you go into the fucking lodge. It's the most white name that you could possibly come up with.
Terrible.
You go to the lodge, and even though you see people with different skin colors and ethnicities, you can label them.
Is nothing like Jackie. Yeah.
No. You look at these people and you say like, okay, well, you're vanilla, you're French vanilla, you're vanilla bean, you are
You're
right.
vanilla bean.
Like, I'm sorry, like you look at it, it's like you guys are all slightly different flavors of the same fucking ice cream. So I would much rather see a little bit of ham-fisted,
like Jackie. Yeah, he's great, But you only take as much of him as you want. So, really when it comes down to it, I mean, there's a piece of, like, CD Projekt Red actually, like, not, like, okay, so the bad guy in your first active that is black.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy.
He is.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want to do well by him, but he's a fucking asshole. And he gets plugged by a Japanese guy.
The only...
and it's like... Yeah, and it's like, okay, you're fake as fuck. So...
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Thank you.
Okay, so it did surprise me, and the reason it surprised me was because that character was so lovingly designed, right? That I had no...
Dax?
The big fat black fellow.
Yeah.
He's so lovingly designed that it took me by surprise that he didn't end up being a main character all the way through.
No, and he plugs you in your face.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was totally... Look. I'm sorry, man. In any Bethesda game, and I'm sorry, all right? I'm not going to pick on them too much, but you can tell your NPCs from... Okay, so... You can tell the people that have been put together by the scraps on the Frito-Lay floor versus
Jesus,
the guys that at least went to run around to Photoshop, man. So, I mean, you can tell it's like you have nothing important to say. Why? Because you have a Mr. Potato Head face. You got this nose, you got this chin, you got this weird forehead, right? So it's totally okay, right? That's why they kind of took me off guard. And the actual like character models in that game, like they're so lovingly crafted. It's like Jesus Christ. Even for characters like Jackie's girlfriend, she's not in the game that much, but I was like, you guys, like,
she's great.
It's like you guys, like, look at this fucking sweater she's wearing, where it's got like,
Yep.
like fraying.
Yeah, fraying.
Like, what the fuck, man? This is incredible.
Totally into the Zodiac and stuff. Yeah, no, it's great, man.
And
God damn it, I wish more games did that. So, like Starfield, I really want to love that game.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So, but
I love it. Just don't.
Like, hey, man, they could do so many cool things with the well and. Could
have but didn't.
Could have but didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the same thing with the entire crew there. I mean, all right, props to them that Walter, the white industrialist, is not a bad dude.
He's not.
No, he's a great guy.
Nope.
In that game. But
nope.
Still at the same point in time, Barrett, I like Barrett a lot, but I get that. So, Jeff's making a face here.
Look, I mean, especially in comparison to the rest of those fucking, like, mannequins that you can tote around,
Correct.
He is by far more personable.
As opposed to Mateo? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's just like, here's a fucking stupid Mexican who actually believes in God.
Jesus Christ. It's not even that, too. It's just like, I'm going to go to your temple, we're going to pray to a box of Lucky Charms, and...
Hey, man. All right. So So in my stats class, I do.
Where are you going with this?
All right. So before we get into politics, here,
All right.
so every Wednesday, I do this cool thing in my stats class where we do math all week.
Okay.
All right. So, but on Wednesdays, it's time for trivia.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
And so my daughter and I were talking about this the other night about old school cartoon characters.
What perspective does she have to offer on this?
She has very little perspective on any old school cartoon
Interesting,
characters. Yeah, so she doesn't know any of the old ones that you and I do.
All right.
And so I was like, all right, man, I got to test out my students today to see what old school cartoon characters these guys know. All right. So everybody knows who Popeye is. Even my current students who are all born after 9/11.
How?
I don't know. I don't know. They all know who Popeye is.
All right.
None of them know who Mighty Mouse is.
Okay. All right.
None of them, 0 of them, got Captain Caveman correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Half of them got Dino.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and very few of them knew who Bam Bam was. So I don't know how they knew Dino, but not Bam Bam. Yeah. So less than 10% of them knew who Gargamel was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that I at least I know that there was a live action Smurfs adaptation like 6 years ago.
Okay.
I don't know if how many people would have seen it, but you know, at least that's way more recent than I know anything with Popeye was released.
Apparently, they all know who Popeye is. So that's awesome. And I even asked him, "Is like, do you guys know what rotoscope is?" And then a few of them were like, "Yes," and that's awesome.
Okay.
I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
Yeah. The only other one was Felix.
I feel like Felix comes up for like
About
I don't know how. I think he just comes up from time to
10
time.
to 15% of them knew who Felix was.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, it was the same as Yosemite Sam.
Oh.
Very few of them knew who Yosemite Sam was. And I even had to prompt them. I was like, "You've seen this on Mudflaps." But they did not know.
Did it tell you to come closer or back off?
Right, yeah. Back off, motherfucker. So, anyway, it was just like this interesting thing. So I was talking to my daughter about this the other day. It's like, so I didn't run it through the same test, but
Yeah.
it was like, how many cartoons do you actually watch? So, and the answer is almost none.
None.
So, yeah, no, I got to the point in time where, like, my dad talked to me, you know, was like, who are these Simpsons fuckers?
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is Apu, and this is, you know, Mo, and this is Homer, and stuff like that. And he didn't know anything about that. So, but I've gotten to the point in time where my daughter does not know who Wile E. Coyote is.
Oh.
She doesn't know who Felix is. She doesn't know who any of the, you know, the Mystery Man or Mystery Van.
Oh, the Scooby extended family.
Family is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like bridge too far, man.
Hey, man, look,
So,
it's
cool, but
I would presume that they have some of their own things, but I have no idea. There's a number
her
of
whole thing is like Minecraft streamers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who these people are. I don't care. But that's
Correct.
I mean, I have my handful of people that I go to for whatever like dumb observational things, whether they're watching a movie or they're, you know, playing a game. But that's few and far between, man. That's not my primary source of entertainment. I mean, I guess that's I've talked about this with William before, like, do you go into okay, let me say it like this. why does real reality television fail? And I mean actual reality television fail.
Like what?
So the few times that they've done shows that are actually focused on documenting basically the life of a person from morning till night, right? Why do these generally fail?
Because they're not that interesting.
Well, it's not that interesting, but it's also, there's part of it of not, the average person's life doesn't have a 3-act narrative, right?
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, no matter how close it is, like if you go to even the the good documentaries that you've seen, the ones that seem authentic, anything from the best documentarians, they still present it in a 1, 2, 3 act structure, right? As though there's some kind of storytelling that's going involved here, right?
Okay.
But if you think about what and sorry, this is old man talk, the kids are into.
Right, yeah, sure.
If you think about it, okay, if you're just gonna watch like somebody stream Roblox or something like that, this is not narrative, right? It is basically
it's just a snapshot.
Absolutely, right? Yeah. It's a continuation of things going on there, and they weren't raised on it, right? They don't have the expectations to look at this and say, well,
get me where I want to go.
Nothing fucking happened, right? Whereas I would, sit in here and I would hope that somebody would make a funny joke or something, right? It's weird.
You're looking for the punchline.
Well, not just the punchline. It's something other than someone keeping me company. And I don't want to be kept company.
Oh, man, that's really smart.
Yeah. I'm here to see storytelling, so if I don't get that, I'm completely unfulfilled by just sitting here. Nothing happened. I didn't gain anything.
I can do that on my own.
Fuck yes, and better.
Yeah.
Right? I'm way funnier than these people. Jerk-offs. I'm ugly as a goblin, so it's not my place to be jumping in here like this, and that's fine. No, don't you stop that. Stop,
all right, we're not going to go that way.
Okay. Let me just say, I'm not stream pretty, okay? So I'll just put it that way, okay? All right? So I'm just going to throw it out there. It's like, okay, so I don't get the same thing that these people do out of it, but they were raised by this.
Yeah.
So they're not... take that view and say, well, how could you give an accurate review of a movie if that's what you've been raised on? How could you... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's an avenue. I don't have something to compare it to literarily or anything like that in history.
It's on the front end. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Fucking the oral histories had structure.
Well, that's why they lasted that long. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. What doom this spells or adaptations that they have to make. That much
doom there, man. It's just like whatever the kids are into next, man. We did that.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
Of course, they're going to be all right. So yeah, it's.
Well, it's interesting to see how much they actually sort through that. So, same thing with my daughter, not knowing those old cartoon characters. So it's different, element of culture. So that it's just not for her.
It's not. But that being said, Patrick, I mean, so what are the fundamental tenets of the Renaissance?
The Renaissance?
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man. That was 600 years ago.
Well, all right. So, all right. So, you're talking about the things that go hand in hand with basically, enlightenment, that follows around in that
sure,
period, right? But remember that this is something, of course, being the rebirth, right? Is although they're looking for new things and they're approaching things from new angles, there is a call to antiquity. That is why they're sculpting David. That is why they're,
okay.
So
appeal to your parents' generation? I don't know.
Well, okay. So was there not a time when we, got into high school and there were a lot of people that, wow, for a bunch of 90s edgelords,
and there are many of those.
It seems like a lot
of you...
Twitter. It seems like a lot of you are raiding your parents' stash of their Beatles and Doors records, right? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that.
You're not wrong, man. You're totally right on that.
So it may be that, the kids at this point, when they get tired of whatever,
I don't know, man. What do you take from your parents' generation that's actually like valuable?
culturally.
I don't know. In general.
All right, so you tell me. All right, so my parents, their birth years were 48 and 50 respectively, so that places them firmly as boomers, yeah? Post World War II.
So my parents were pre-World War II. So
What years would they have been?
39 and 42.
39 and 42. Okay, so yeah, just wow. Okay, you wouldn't think that just a few years like that would make a difference, but I think it does.
It might. I mean, so I was thinking about this driving down to school today. Whereas, like, my parents were in their 20s during Marty McFly years.
Right. That's wacky, isn't it?
It is
yeah.
kind of like wiggy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But, so, like, my mom's family kind of, like, spreads, a couple generations there. So, if she's got a sister who's, like, 6 years older, who was married during World War II, and another one who was married 6 years younger during, like, the early 1960s, there's kind of like a spread there. So
definitely, and a spread within the same house where you'd be getting different viewpoints or people developing.
Correct.
Like, this is new and cool.
Yeah, your parents are still alive.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that, man. I mean, but you know me, man. I'm pretty sour on any kind of generational bullshit.
No, but I will point out some trends that I will have seen, from at least from my dad and from my mom. And you tell me if this is true in your case. Like, at least from the generation that they came from, right? There is at least a sense of, I don't know. You tell me how to describe this. Just a certain sense of whether it's smart or not. Okay. You overlook whatever pain or difficulty you're going through when a job needs to be done. Right? To the point where, it's like your dad with his knees and my dad with his lungs and all this other stuff where it's like,
Sure.
it
is what it is.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Versus...
Okay, so that's a legit theme. Yeah.
And there is sometimes, like, where I do wish I had a little bit more of that. There is times where I find myself like I'm lifting something, or when I was helping my brother move that god-awfully heavy washing machine, right? If you're doing something like that and like your wrist hurts suddenly, you're like, whoa, right? Whereas I know my dad wouldn't even give it a second thought, right? He would just plow through it, right? He might have fucked it up later on the back end.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I think there's some of that I don't necessarily have, but it's not necessarily smart either.
Right. It's almost like that self-stabbing smart.
Kind of. Yeah. It's that very much like...
Well, that murdered my dad, so I get that.
And too.
But also I still do admire it on a certain
absolutely
level. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to instill that in my daughter, though. So
right, you'd want to
like, like, hey, tough it out, kid. But if that starts protruding out of your chest, you might want to get that checked out. So I don't know, man. There's a different generational gap there. I mean, to be fair, all right. So there's been a lot of like, all the kids are wimpy and blah, blah, blah.
No,
I can't do that. And I can't do that because I observe it every single day. And my kids in school are, to be fair, tougher than they were like 6 years ago.
Yeah,
they're way tougher.
And that's the kind of the gap that we just talked about between our folks. Yeah.
Correct. Where they're like, hey, man, I don't want that. I want to do this. I want to get this done. How do I get there? And it's like, that's not something I saw like 6-7 years ago.
Right.
So, I
Right.
don't know. I don't want to shit on that generation
I know.
either. You know, because I don't know, there's a lot of strength there too. So, but it's not the same strength that I saw out of my dad, who fucking used to play knuckleball.
That's what I'm talking about, man.
In
I'm
the
talking about
40s, late in the 40s, it's like, oh, well, early 50s on the streets of New York, like my dad did, you know, but still at the same time, I don't want anybody else to do that.
no, it's Pat, it's not our generation of guys, and I've seen dudes like this where they can talk about this like perfectly calmly, right? Where there can be something going on, like there's like a traffic thing or people being like haywire or whatever, right? Where they'll just like calmly stop. Like you can be on the phone with them, right? And they'll say like, "Hey, I gotta hang up for right now." It's like, what? It's like, hey, I gotta go kick this guy's ass right quick, right? And they'll say it just like it's like they're popping a pimple, right?
Right?
Just,
Yeah, exactly.
like,
yeah.
I couldn't do that. That would be
Yeah, but see,
that would be my whole day,
bro. You and I grew up in the shadow of this like generation. It was like, yeah, let's fucking roll, but you know, don't call the cops. You know, whereas
course,
my dad
yeah.
grew up in a situation. It was like, well, yeah, let's fucking roll, and you better call the cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because someone's gonna get dead.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Whereas opposed to like, you know, all right, you're gonna show up on Monday morning with a couple black guys. It's okay. Everybody understands that. As opposed to it's like fucking a knife in the side of you. You know, yeah. And I'm glad I didn't grow up in that.
No,
So, yeah.
and again with the matter of factness that comes with it, where I think I was with my dad once. He told me like, you know, because this is just like how people would rumble. Now keep in mind, it wasn't necessarily getting shanked, you know, because there were also like fights and it happened. But you
Dude, I
know,
remember my dad almost getting in a fight with a guy when he was my age. The Air Force. He's like, you got a problem with it? Yeah, you got a problem with me? So I'm gonna take my fucking Velcro strap.
watch got glasses.
He's like, Dad, I gotta go to school tomorrow. He's like, this is a guy in the Air Force. You gotta work with him next week. So, and everybody nowadays is so fucking pussy about this.
Well,
It's like, oh yeah, well, I can get you on the next performance review. It's like, fuck that. Let's go sort this out.
yeah.
So
You want to go figure this out outside?
now all of a sudden, like me, the guy who's gotten like 3 fucking fights in my entire life, is all of a sudden like, it's like, hey, really? Sorry, I'm the boomer dad now.
No, dude. I said this.
Jesus Christ. Come on, it's not that big of a deal. If it's going to be that big of a deal, let's make it a big deal. So what are you going to do? You're
Big
going to
deal or not?
yeah, you gonna fucking call me out? I don't know, man. So it's just it's weird.
It is weird.
It's a weird place to be. We're a weird generation, man. So I'm seeing that on Twitter now more so than anything else. So
Okay.
it's just all right, yeah, I'll fight you in the street, motherfucker. And then most people are like, no.
No, you
Yeah.
won't. No, you
No,
won't.
you won't.
And don't say you will. I mean, this is
I know.
it's funny because this is something I specifically
Damn it.
was
I hate this.
well, no, it's I think I said this to Will at one point, or maybe it was to you, where I was like, can you imagine getting in an actual fight at this age? Can you imagine what the next day would be like, right? Where
It
you're
would
like,
involve a lot of attorneys and yeah.
not even just attorneys, where
Just be like, oh, I'm sore. I gotta call in sick.
because the question is like, number one, when's the last time you took a punch, right? So the first thing is going to be
It's been since high school.
yeah. So you're gonna turn around and say like, okay, did you remember that when you're in this that you have to tense your neck, or did you basically go limber and let somebody rock your head around? No, you didn't take a punch the right way. You fell in a funny way. Your shoulders are all fucked up from years of work, right? You're going to be so sore. It doesn't matter how much I run and how much I lift weights, right? I'm still going to feel like crap because those fighting muscles aren't muscles I use, right?
Well, and nor should you, but, certain people just get to the point in time where it's like, shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah,
and it's like,
do something about it, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you gonna? Oh, I got it. I got it.
I got
it. Yeah, I'm a pussy. I got it. What else do you have to say? Yeah.
It's like, really, we need to do this? Okay.
Do we have to?
So let me go put my glasses in the car.
Like you were saying, like your dad, like when he was your age, he was out for it. It was like, I guess we gotta.
There goes we gotta. Yeah.
So I gave him the chance.
But here's my dad pulling off his like fucking BDUs.
But it's like I gave him so many opportunities to stop running his mouth.
Stop being a bitch.
Did not to, right? Yeah. At this point, and I'll document it, 09:30 hours, he decided not to.
Correct.
Ergo,
yeah.
I took off my beanie and beat his ass in the commissary parking lot.
Or offered him the chance to do so. Likewise, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. There's just like, Jesus Christ, and like actually going through and watching Twitter. I can't do it anymore, Jeff.
Oh, Patrick, that's my bread and butter.
I know, man. You get paid. So,
well, it's not just that.
I get that, but just like I can't do it anymore, man. So it's just, bro. Like I've been watching, trying to find like middle source, like kind of shit.
Sure.
Okay. And so like even the last one, so the first one that I got banged on for a bit was these guys at Breaking Points.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And so that's Cristobal and Sagar and Jetty. I
know that, yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard of it. I don't hang out there, but yeah.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
So, but I'm trying to seek out middle ground.
Sure, respectful.
So, and they went fucking tanky.
Great.
On me. Yeah, exactly. So, and then I moved over to the Hill. So,
I know the Hill, yeah. Wow.
They're great.
Yeah.
So, both those guys. Well, I mean, so like Brianna Greyjoy, Black Chick.
Yeah.
Fucking Bernie Sanders, communication director,
yeah.
For years. So I was like, all right, you're my tanky. All right. All right. I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
So respect you as a person.
Yeah.
I think you do a good job. Fucking nuked it on this entire, like, Israel thing. So.
Do you have any idea what's going on tonight?
I don't know, man. So,
the Palestinian protesters.
Fuck them.
Patrick, they stormed the DNC tonight.
Fine. All right. So, Donald Trump's going to be the next president. I don't like that, but I don't hate it compared to what else could be. So, but Jesus Christ, man. These guys are just like, trying to ping it for pings or for clicks and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do it anymore, man. So, you got to the point in time where it's like, eventually it's like, hey, man, I just need a sane view of what's going on in the world. And so I cannot see how anybody who is remotely sane cannot actually empathize with Israel for like wanting to bulldoze fucking Gaza into the sea at this point in time. Even when they lit these like humanitarian corridors outside of the hospitals, why is the IDF going after like fucking hospitals? Because they're fucking targets.
Because Hamas is hiding in there
Correct.
And stockpiling weapons and telling the people if they leave, they will be shot.
Dude, if I was playing Arma 3 and I was playing like the Palestinian, well, not Palestinians, but Hamas,
Yeah.
this is where I would park my shit. Okay, come on, man. And you know, the IDF has been so like, hey, get out. Come on over here. We got incubators over here. I cannot, and I've seen so many people that I've respected over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Who I have like taken as like, okay, you're legit left side. Okay, let me listen to you. But you have planted your flags on this. I cannot buy this anymore. So, because really when it comes down to it, all right, so we're going to set up like, you know, fucking, you know, like Al-Qaeda, you know, like refugee camps in New York. Okay, all right. So, Jeff's facial expressions kind of get me on this. So I don't know, man. I don't know where I belong anymore. So I'm pro-Ukraine. I want Ukraine to fucking, you know, like hold off Russia. I get this.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm pro-IDF. Yeah. You got attacked. Fucking defend yourselves. I don't see any difference between those two things. Okay. So, where does that put me right now? So I guess I'm a Republican, maybe.
Well,
So, but not like a Tucker Carlson guy who's like, oh, well, we shouldn't send money to either of these guys. Fuck off. All right. So come on, man, help me out. So I don't know where I'm at anymore. So
here's the rough thing, right? Okay, so I'm with you 100% in terms of what level of retaliation would I expect from my country to perform if this happened on American soil?
fucking 100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Drop all the bombs right now. Tell you to fuck the fuck off.
what exactly? So by what possible reasoning would I flip around and say, like, well, actually, guys, right? You shouldn't, because of the clusterfuck that's happened since 1948 that was decided by the UN and not you.
You're doing it right now. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, like, because somehow some level of occupation of something that these people that are storming the DNC right now have no fucking clue about what happened, but they're mad. They want to do this, right?
Fuck all those people.
Every single last one of
Yeah.
them, right? So as far as I'm concerned, look, if you could separate Hamas from the people of Gaza,
That'd be
right?
fantastic.
And from what I understand, they're trying to do that as best as possible. But if they don't comply, well, I'm sorry.
We gotta separate the wheat from the chaff.
In what version of things, again, if I go ahead, if let's flip this back on the United States, and it just keep in mind, we don't have this. We don't have this where a section of basically what is in our land, right, has these terrorists in it, right? We
Right,
don't have
yeah.
that. If we did this thing where it's like, all right, so they already shoot rockets at us during peacetime, right? Then they did this. And then is there any way that the people of the United States would say, yes, actually they have an active terror cell, but we're going to leave them alone, even though they're right there in our land where we see them and know where they are?
Never, never, never,
crazy?
never. Not in this country.
No.
Never. No.
So by what ends
We
would
would
I turn
suss
around?
all of them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, so by what ends would I turn around and say, like, actually, you guys need to call a ceasefire? Like, you know what? That's on you. You decide to call a ceasefire.
Fucking lay
when you
down your
want to.
arms. Get out. Yeah.
Now, if
Yeah.
somebody wants to make the argument, if they've been consistent about this thing since 2001 or whatever, and they said, all right, actually, we don't believe in interventionism. We should have been dialing back. I'm not going to fault anybody for being consistent and saying, like, hey, we did our thing. We should have got in there and got out. Done. And we should have stopped messing with other people's affairs. I don't necessarily agree with you, but you're consistent.
But if they duck behind you, duck behind you, and if you're going to provide cover for them,
If you make your civilians combatants, I can't help you with that.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's a shitty situation. I don't know nobody
It's a
wants
terrible
that.
situation, but still at the same point in time, I mean, you can go all the way back to any kind of like, you know, government that was supported by its civilian population.
Yeah.
And I get that. I get the fact that, they haven't had like free and democratic elections since 2006 or whatever. But if you have a party that gets in control and says, no, all right, we're going to stay in control and there's no more elections after this, you got to rise up, man. I mean, you got to take up arms against a government like that. And if now at this point in time where you haven't done so for so many years, and that's your representation, then you gotta fucking oust those guys.
I agree.
Yeah, no.
I agree. I completely agree.
Well, and that's the awesome thing about this country is like that would never happen.
No, yeah, number one, you'd have to trample on the pieces of paper that we hold so dear.
Correct.
And number two,
you'd have to take away their guns.
and every passing day, I am getting more cemented that this is, that 1 and 2 thing that we have there in that paper are the lasting legacy that will continue on past this country's demise. When you say like, what did the United States guarantee that meant so much to the future of human civilization? Number one is they said, we are going to guarantee the freedom of speech. Number two, we're going to back that up by leaving weapons in the hands of the people in case their government decides to incur on that.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise, it's an empty promise that people can and would happily strip away. Patrick, you talk about Twitter, and this is the same bullshit where I don't mind history, but I really don't like revisionist history. I don't like people turning around and saying, like, there never was a COVID lockdown. I'm like, the fuck there was not. Right?
Those people don't matter.
No, this is what I'm saying here is, in terms of if you went to some areas, right, there were people saying that anybody not being vaccinated needed to be rounded up, that needed to be, right, they should be jailed, right? And it is by sheer force that we have the ability to defend ourselves. Correct. That this nonsense didn't fucking happen because they got put in camps in Australia.
Yeah, but this is not Australia, man.
No, but that's what I'm saying is to have that in your back pocket to say, like, okay, you cannot trust a government at its word. You absolutely cannot.
Well, I wouldn't say that's actually like emphatically yay or nay.
No, and you hope that you never want to use this stuff. The tragedy.
I would actually say that, like, in our government, like, in particular, and we've seen this over the last, like, year or so.
Yeah.
You can vote people in.
Yeah.
So, the government that we have now is not the same one that we had 4 years ago.
No.
I don't know, man. I just like a real good, solid faith in the fact that the American middle class, the voting class, is the most powerful group of people on the face of the fucking planet.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. Well, I mean,
I get it. There's a little piece here and there on the margin, but you're going to tell me that whatever bullshit was going on in 2020 is going to happen again in 2024? No. No way. So 1,000 people were watching. 10,000s, hundreds of thousands of people were watching.
No, we've talked about this before. A trick play works once.
Correct.
And then you watch for it.
Correct.
Right? This is why the...
Yeah, and so this is my great faith here. So... you and I have the great fortune to be born into this.
Yes.
And actually, like, participating in it and watching it. you know. But still, at the same point in time, we do control the world.
And let me clarify, the world is better for it. Sorry to put that out there, but
No, you do not need to apologize for that. Yes, you and I are correct.
I'm just going to lay that out there. I'm very
nice.
sorry, but the world is better for it.
And the world's way better for the fact that we are watching. So
That is correct.
yeah.
But it's funny. I'll end with a kind of like a lighter note, and it was just something I was laughing at, and this had to do with Will and I were having a discussion about.
Okay.
we were kind of talking about like money management, right? And it came down to a men versus women thing. And I was having this discussion earlier on with Marina from Russia, right? And
Hi, Marina.
yeah, and
I love you.
she's fantastic. But
Yeah.
so
No, I appreciate all the perspectives.
oh yes, absolutely. Well, so we're talking about the difference between men and women when it comes to money and math, right? And so,
Okay.
all right, now she came out straightforward. I said like, who would you consider like if you were going to look at someone and describe someone that's bad with money, like what attributes would you describe? She said, well, me, and she just fessed up to it. Right now, the place where this
I
went.
said with male and Russian. Yeah.
Well, all right. Now, and this is where it kind of like went into math for a little bit, right? Because this was the supposition here was, if you've seen the curves upon where men and women excel in math, right? Okay. It's like a bell curve and a reverse bell curve.
Sure.
Right? So
different means.
Well, it's crazy because on the men's side, right, it's just more outliers to both ends, right? So you have way more astrotards, but you also
So we in statistics we call those like higher outliers on the positive side of the curve.
Astrotards?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so
people who are smarter but less wrong, but when they are right, greater.
Okay. So yeah, all right. So you got that. All right. So the higher on both ends, whereas the female side is a more traditional bell curve, right?
Sure.
Where you just don't have the same outliers on the back or the front. It's just the majority or.
So they're mediating the.
Right. So this was my question here was because we were talking about this in terms of math, and it went to a bunch of different places, but. My question was at that point, do women just have a different perception of math in terms of, do you see figures in a different way than men do, right? Like when you visualize numbers and that kind of thing, does it feel differently than it does to a man? And I would question, like, from your experience over time, do you have any observations to this? Like, do they see it in like an abstract way versus?
I would say that women actually see things.
And this is not negative. This is just different.
No, yeah. I get that. I would say that men overcalculate their ability to beat the mean. And under
the femurs?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
They would overcalculate their ability to beat the mean, and then underestimate their ability to actually meet the mean. Whereas women who, regardless of that, would actually see, they would mitigate their chances on the negative side.
They'd hedge?
They'd totally hedge.
Okay. But she did say that she's like, but they still don't have a problem spending.
Oh, what?
Anything.
Okay.
Now, again, this is just anecdotal, right? But
Sure.
this is all right. So I was like, okay,
I would say that men overestimate their chances and women underestimate their chances. Let's put it that way.
okay. Well, that sort of kind of goes into the next point of that, and this I promise you, this will all dovetail into where we're going. But all
Yeah.
right, so what that led into was basically like the discussion of like women in STEM, right? Is it something where, of course, you've seen the Iceland studies on this and everything like that, where,
Mm-hmm.
I argued at this point, I was like, is it a case of just women just not being interested in math,
There's a case to be made for that.
right? Because at that point, I was like, look, I said, all right, if you just don't like it, would you pursue a career in it, even though you have no fondness for math? I would argue that,
Depends on the upside.
well, and that's the thing, and this is
Yeah.
where it kind of came into the career thing, right? Of, because she was, putting this argument in terms of that split between women having to choose between motherhood and uh, advancing the career, right? And this is where the height of our argument was.
Sure.
But to the part that I enjoyed, I was like, all right, so I said, because I know her husband too, I was like, all right, so let's just talk interests for a second and let's see if these things cross over. Like, all
Okay.
right, Marina, I want you to tell me, can you name any aircraft from World War II?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You went there.
Now, the funny thing was,
She probably can because she's Russian.
she named a tank, right? She named a tank.
T-38?
Yeah, she named a tank.
T-34. Yeah.
She did the 34. But she could not name any aircraft. I said, okay, so do me a favor. It's like, your husband's over there. He's like, could you run over there and ask him if he knows any? She's like, no. I'm like, why? It's like,
Just fuck off.
she said, because if I ask him, he knows them all.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, and this was the thing, was like, but that's,
So he knows the yak too, huh? Yeah.
I
got it.
guarantee,
Yeah.
that's but this was the thing, this is what it said, like, all right, there's nothing written down that says men have to be interested in this, right? But generally speaking, they are, right? And that's what I was saying, like, is it just in the same way that, like, guys are interested in this, that women just aren't interested in math generally?
Well, you're looking at something that's like predeterminative. So. And maybe. I mean.
Because if you
depends
look
on-
down the barrel of, like, okay, so this is math, but this is, I'm looking down 45 years of doing math, but I don't like it, even if I'm good at it.
Sure.
Because they perform better than men on average in
Who?
school.
Women?
Yeah. It's by like a razor thin margin.
Yeah,
but it's
so it might not be within a standard deviation one way or another. I don't know, man. So that's the great question is like, is this actually predeterminative? And the fundamental question is, what does that mean?
that's yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, a lot of people pursue that argument based upon the fact that it's like, okay, so you should get your ass back in the kitchen. So,
Okay, now that's way too far of a.
no, but that's
But
where it goes.
if you want to take that side of the argument and just label it that, go ahead. It's fine.
No, man. I'm
Because the
just-
proponents of it will take it there. All right.
correct. I'm just taking it at
Yeah.
Axios and drawing the arrow out to where it goes. So, but really, when it comes down to it, the question is, what does that mean? So, for individual women who really want to pursue space-based, math-based, physics-based careers,
Yeah.
that's not a disqualifier.
Nope.
So, and at the same point in time, if it's men who want to be in those careers and exclude women from those careers, that's a different argument.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but really, when it comes down to it, nothing of that is determinative. So,
Well, and
so if you have a student, like I have for many years, So, who comes from a culture where your future career path is based not upon your understanding the field, but based upon your like gender.
All right.
That's bad. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if you are involved in one of those cultures, it just means you have to punch above your weight class. Yeah, it sucks.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Yeah, and this is the same thing that studies confirm. Is like no matter how enticing that you make it, and how many hoops or barriers that you quote unquote tear down, right?
Correct.
There's still just less of an interest in it from that group.
Yeah, but that's fine. But that doesn't really like negate anybody's individual.
Not in the slightest.
Correct.
No, of course.
Yeah.
But to understand the proclivities is part of it, right? This.
Well, those might be shaped by the society. They might be shaped by individual preferences. You cannot determine between the two. So,
Well, no. The bottom line is be welcoming either way. Even if they don't want, if they, as a group, generally
Absolutely.
aren't interested. If somebody does show interest, the answer is not like get out.
can they punch above their weight class?
Well, even if it's not necessarily like punching above their weight class, but just like be welcoming of different people. I feel like this should be like a no,
duh, yeah.
like a no duh answer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But just this whole thing of like, it's kind of like how firefighters used to be, where it's like a girl gross.
Oh my
right,
god,
get
yeah.
out.
You can't like hold this guy over this fucking barrier, but you can do like amazing CPR. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Man.
I guess the answer is like if you see a girl coming, like don't say gross, get out. Just be like, hey, cool.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Durr.
No, Patrick, I'm trying to.
No, man.
I want
It's
to
no-
take things positive.
All right. So, like, we've had many podcasts here. We've talked about being lousy with gays,
Yeah.
and Jeff does not like sassy black, and stuff like that. But it doesn't. You have to listen to the whole thing.
There's a history. Just start at episode.
There's a history.
You go to one
yeah.
and work your way forward. You'll see the progression of this. Yeah.
No, but I get that. The thing that I've learned to respect a little bit more is like when you interact with other cultures. So people who grew up in different place, different point in time, different circumstances. You and I can joke about like Eddie and Mexicans and Cubans and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're fucking funny, right? They're hilarious. So it's still at the same point in time. I mean, it doesn't carry a candle to like what your friend has gone through,
Yeah.
like growing up in Russia.
Oh.
So yeah, no, it's not even close. And so if you look at it from our perspective, yeah, all right, some of the shit's funny. So, but still, at some point in time, I mean, there's some other things where it's just like, okay, we can slice the cake, whichever way we want to go, with, individuals who can't cut this, like, metric, can't make it in this direction,
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't
Abuse
fucking-
FMLA, whatever.
Exactly. Abuse FMLA. Yeah. So, yeah. No, I need 9 months off. Fuck off. So, take advantage of whatever you got.
Right.
So, but still at the same point in time.
Well, all right.
No, man, we're
Yeah.
blessed. We got this entire structure around us here.
Well, I think
I got students who are from all over the fucking planet. They're gracious. Where like it's like, oh wait, I don't need to do what in order to get this job? It's like, no, you just need to be good.
right.
So yeah, just do your job.
Well,
You're awesome.
Yeah.
So
my mother loves this country, right? Because she was able to put the entire Pacific Ocean between her and communists. right? So
It didn't even take an entire ocean. It took like 30 miles.
well,
Anybody who wants to actually like take a look at like the Korean War in particular, and I've seen this on Twitter the last couple days where they called this a loss.
yeah.
Yeah, but then you look at like, Jesus Christ, you guys have TV, you guys do not. Is this a loss? Not for these guys, you know?
Well, it's really simple stuff. It's like, okay, so you look at this line. You look at this goofy line. It's like, all right, so on one side of this, you eat each other. Case closed. It's like, so you put that on the scoreboard. It's like, you know, it's like until you can defeat that argument, right? You don't get to make another one, right? There's no, but still, right?
Yeah.
That you don't get to work around it. You don't get to pull like some kind of end around. But here's what I will say, okay, because you talked about this before, right?
Sure.
In terms of what yours and my, if we're going to go into this generational stuff, and I can do this in a positive light, okay?
Okay.
A good send off where you can say, all right, this is what we do well, right? And everything that you just said there in terms of like, all right, I'm going to make fun of Cubans, or I'm going to make fun of sassy blacks, or whatever, blah, 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 whatever it may be, all right?
Yeah, to throw that in there, huh?
Well, no, this is what I'm saying here is, okay, the thing is...
Super scary gays. Yeah.
Well, this is where it doesn't matter, okay, is when it comes down to it, we have the absolute switch of you flip it off and you say, okay, no more fucking around. And if I work with the sassiest black woman, that switch is off. We can joke about it all day long,
Right.
But as soon as that's off, it's like, hey, you know, good to see you on Monday, and we can be best friends, even though I don't like that or make fun of it. I think that's what we do better that our parents didn't do, because in terms of like you've talked about your dad and rap cars, I think that was prejudicial.
It totally was.
Like,
yeah,
and I can sit there and say like. Where we get the best of both worlds of we appreciate the joke, but then the switch is, hey, person's a person. We all work here together. I'm not going to hold that against. If you are still turning on your work on time, I still love you.
Show up on time. You do your stuff.
Yup.
Totally cool.
I cover your back. You cover mine.
Gotcha.
Be as sassy as you want. Right?
Yeah,
That's cool.
fine.
Be as flamboyantly gay as you want.
Fine.
Great.
Yeah.
You know, you could be the best worker. I'm still going to laugh at your mannerisms. I'm still going to say, like...
we all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally fine. You can do that here.
Same thing goes if you were my neighbor. It's like,
Sure.
yeah, but that's a good neighbor, though.
That's a good neighbor.
Exactly.
Yep.
I think that's what we do well, instead of having to take this shit personally like the next one down the line. It's like, that's offensive. It's like,
yeah.
no, man, actually, it's kind of endearing.
It's not a way to shoot you. Yeah.
Because I'm presuming they're making fun of me in some way, too. And they probably are.
You're totally right about that. Yeah, you never know. You might be that square who lives next door. Yeah. Your fucking mom, like, came over from the border. It's going, you have to actually, like, fucking cut your lawn every day.
Who is that old one that walks like Mr. Burns? You know, that's like... He had the little cradled wrists and shit like that. I'm like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Get him alone.
You take your lumps, you give them to someone else, and the life goes on.
And we all live together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
You know what? That's possible.
Good spot.
We can go.
Yeah,
Yeah. There you go. All right.
All right. All right. I'm Pat.
I'm Jeffrey.
Good night.
Good night.
Take that positively.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like good night and go fuck yourself. No. It's fuck you for listening. No.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Good night. Sleep well.
Great.
Your neighbors
great
got
to see
you.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
See ya.